Hey everyone, in this video today I wanted to compare the two giants in the stock market, Apple and NVDA. If you had $10,000, where should you invest the $10,000? And if you need to make a decision between Apple and NVIDIA. So I'm going to try to answer this question at the end of this video, and I'd like to hear from you. What do you think? Now let's take a look at Apple. Apple is right now as $222, Nvidia as at 142. If you look at the market capitalization, Apple has a $3.3 trillion market cap, whereas Nvidia just crossed over Apple, now is the most valuable company in the world with a $3.47 trillion in market capitalization. If you look at the trading volume, Apple had 54.7 million shares traded compared to Nvidia 235 million shares traded, right? So if I look at the market liquidity point of view, if you are want to, get in and out, there's a better chance of you be getting out with Nvidia because there's a lot more shares trading every day compared to Apple. That's number one. Now, let's take a look at the ratings. So analyst rating for Apple, the analyst rating, is a buy with a target of $243. The stock is already trading at $222. So if you take the difference, 243 minus 222, there's about 9.7% upside potential. If these 48 analysts are correct, Apple hits that target, you will make about 10%. Compared to that, what's going on with NVIDIA? NVIDIA analyst target is $171 and it is trading today at 142. So if these analysts, which is actually a lot more analysts covering NVIDIA, but 62 analysts, if these analysts are correct, you have a 20.7 percent gain potential, right? So if I were to compare these two head to head, I would say NVIDIA wins the verdict, I guess, right? Now, that's not totally conclusive yet. Depending on your type of investment, if you are a dividend investor, so if you take a look at the dividend amount, Apple pays 25 cents dividend per quarter. Compared to that, NVIDIA does not pay anything actually. It pays 1 cent per quarter. So if you are a dividend investor, you're better you're better off investing in the Apple stock compared to NVIDIA stock. But what about if you don't care about dividend? You are a long-term investor. You're looking for capital appreciation. In that case, NVIDIA might be your better choice. What about the other indicators? So let's take a look at some of the financials, right? So if I look at the financials in here, let's go compare the key metrics for each of these stocks. One thing that I look at is the management effectiveness between the companies. So let's take a look at the management effectiveness of Apple versus NVIDIA. I mean, Apple has an amazing management. Tim Cook and company has been running the company really, really well. So it's not a bad management at all, but you need to compare head to head. So if you look at the management effectiveness, return on average asset, Apple is 28.9%, whereas NVIDIA is 84%. That's a whoppingly higher number compared to Apple's, right? Then if you look at return on average equity, Apple is 174%, Nvidia is 127%. Well, Apple seems to win here, right? What about return on investment, Apple is 52%, return on investment, NVDA is 101%. That is much higher, right? So if you compare these, this is mixed. Management effectiveness, both companies' managements are pretty amazing. One thing that stuck out to me is in terms of profitability and efficiency. So let's take a look at the efficiency. How efficient are these two organizations? One thing that I look at is how much money the company is bringing in per employee. If you look at Apple, it's $2.38 million per employee. That's what Apple brings in. What about NVIDIA? Let's take a look at NVIDIA's efficiency. Just look at this. Amazing. NVIDIA brings in $3.83 million per employee. So from an effectiveness and efficiency point of view, NVIDIA is a much more efficient compared to Apple. They both are great companies, but at the moment, the way it is, NVIDIA seems to have an edge over Apple. So if you are a dividend investor, you may want to look at Apple. But if you are a long-term investor looking for capital appreciation, NVIDIA might be your better choice. Now, the other thing is that came out recently is Donald Trump has announced the Stargate project with Oracle, OpenAI, SoftBank partnership, and NVIDIA is going to be the sole, mostly the beneficiary of that project if that goes through. So, given this potential, if I were making a decision with my $10,000, I'd probably put it into NVIDIA. Even though Apple is an amazing company, Apple Intelligence is coming up, they have always found a way to make money and they have a well diversified portfolio. But given NVIDIA is on on a roll and the next 2 years, I think they're going to continue until another competitor comes into the market. But by that time, NVIDIA might become already $6 trillion company. So my verdict is if I have $10,000 today and I need to invest between Apple and Nvidia, I'd buy Nvidia. I will pass on Apple for the moment. Well, what do you think? Let me know your opinion. Which one would you buy and why? Thanks for watching.